And in this video, I'm going to give you the meaning of life in very simple terms, and I'm going to provide you indisputable proof. That kind of existential question of why are we here as your objective and the meaning of your life, right? But the question is why? What's the purpose? What are you going to do with your life, right? And being human beings who are the most emotional animals on the planet, the feeling of happiness is the ultimate goal. In the Declaration of Independence, it says that all human beings are entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. For example, let's say you're a kleptomaniac and you enjoy shoplifting, even though you don't need the money. The meaning of your life is to make you happy, doing the things, the very specific things that make you happy. So the meaning of life, the purpose of life, the question, that kind of existential question of why are we here? What is life all about? What is the purpose of your existence? What is the purpose of my existence, right? What is the meaning of life? Okay. And, this has been a question that I guess has, been pondered by human beings for thousands of years, right? And in this video, I'm going to give you the meaning of life in very simple terms, and I'm going to provide you indisputable proof that supports my conclusion, okay? So without further ado, let's kind of talk about the meaning of life. The meaning of life is happiness. The meaning of your life is to be happy. The meaning of my life is to be happy. So the question is, how do we come about this conclusion that happiness is the meaning of life? Okay. So one of the best ways that I've arrived at this conclusion is through what's called deductive reasoning. Okay. That means that it can't be anything else. Okay. It can't be wanting to be longevity, right? Wanting to live as long as possible, right? Is that really the meaning of life? Is it wealth? Is it financial wealth? Is it having the most amount of money in your bank account? Is that the meaning of life? I don't think so. What about career achievements, right? Do you want to be the best business person in the world? Do you want to be the best doctor in the world? Do you want to be the best accountant or lawyer in the world? Do you want to be, the best race car driver in the world or the best kind of professional football player in the world? Is that the meaning of your life? Do you really want to dedicate your life to that? Probably not. So let's talk about family. What is the meaning of life in terms of family? Is it having the most amount of kids in the world, right? Probably not, right? And of course, you want to surround yourself by loved ones. But the question is why? Why do you want to surround yourself by loved ones? What is the meaning of life? So the meaning of life can't be any of these other kind of quote unquote achievements, right? The meaning of life is happiness. The meaning of life is the pursuit of happiness. The reason we exist and being human beings who are the most emotional animals on the planet, the feeling of happiness is the ultimate goal and supreme above all other objectives in your life and in my life. Happiness is the goal. Let me give you another piece of evidence that I'm using to come to that conclusion that happiness is the meaning of life. And that is the Declaration of Independence, right? The Declaration of Independence, written in the 1700s by the founding fathers of the United States, is one of the most important man-made documents since the invention of the printing press in the 1400s. Okay, since the Renaissance and the Age of Enlightenment that followed the printing press, between 1400 and let's say 1800, the Declaration of Independence coming about around 1776 is the most influential and important document, in my opinion, that has been written not counting historical scripture, right? In the Old Testament and the New Testament, those were scriptures that were produced before the Declaration of Independence and before the printing press. But once the printing press came about and the sharing of ideas started to happen, the Declaration of Independence, I think, kind of rose to the top as kind of the foundational document for the United States, right? So in the I give a lot of weight to the Declaration of Independence. And in the Declaration of Independence, it says that all human beings are entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The Declaration of Independence, accounts for everyone having life and liberty, which means that you're not going to get locked up without due process and you're not going to be executed without due process, right? So you're entitled to your life and you're entitled to have a free life, right? But the question is why? What's the purpose? What are you going to do with your life, right? What's the purpose of now your life and liberty that has been granted to you by the Declaration of Independence and the United States government? It's the pursuit of happiness. It's right there. That's your next kind of objective. You want to achieve life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I give a lot of weight, like I said, to the Declaration of Independence to come to my conclusion that happiness is the meaning of life. Not to mention, by deductive reasoning, you can say that there's really no other kind of external goal that is more noteworthy or noble or worthwhile than my own personal happiness. Right? So if I'm consulting you as a happiness coach and you tell me that doing, such and such thing makes you happy, I'd say, go ahead and do such and such thing. Do it. Be happy. Now, if your happiness comes from harmful behavior, right? Let's say excessive gambling, for example. Let's say you're a kleptomaniac and you enjoy shoplifting, even though you don't need the money. So you got to assess the risk that comes with that activity and then make an informed decision on how you're going to pursue that. And you might be in need of some kind of clinical help because you are resorting to harmful behavior to reach your happiness place. But if that's the way you are and certain thing, and that even that makes you happiness, as a happiness coach, I would tell you you have self-awareness, right? You're self-aware and you know that this makes you happy. You got to accept it, that this is the activity that makes you happy, and you got to love yourself. And despite the fact that if your happiness activity is a nefarious activity or a harmful activity. But for most of us, what makes us happy is within the realms of our social contract, right? So for most of us, for example, for me, I like the color blue. I like the color blue. I wear blue. I have a blue book, right? I enjoy blue. I like having it in my life. So I do more of that, right? Let's say I like the outdoors. I will, spend more time outdoors, right? So do what makes you happy. And I'm here to tell you that when you're deciding about kind of, what is your ultimate first priority in terms of what you should dedicate your life to, it is happiness. Of course, we discussed the formula of happiness in chapter 2 of the book, which is titled Happiness. So I give you a lot of best practices on how to achieve happiness, including self-love and gratitude, which are some of the most foundational, fundamental elements of a happy lifestyle. But the purpose of this video is to let you know that my advice to you is to pursue happiness as your objective and the meaning of your life, right? And whatever makes you happy is subjective to you, and that's okay too. And that's good for you. That's what makes us all unique. Of course, we have a lot of shared values as well, but the point is that for you personally, the meaning of your life is to make you happy. Doing the things, the very specific things that make you happy. I hope you enjoyed this video, and make sure to share and like and subscribe to the Good Problems podcast on Instagram and YouTube. And I will see you all on the next video.